Myself, Dr. Rihanna from Jamal Muhammad College, going to discuss about structure and reproduction of mycoplasma. Here we are going to discuss about the general characteristics, ultrastructure of mycoplasma, and then mycoplasma pneumonia, mycoplasma hominis, mycoplasma genitalium and its reproduction. This mycoplasma, it is known as pleuropneumonia, and this is the first organism that has been recognized, and it's responsible for highly contagious disease of cattle, that is bovine pleuropneumonia. So in 1967, Doi et al. As well as Ishii et al., they have reported that these mycoplasma, so it is a causative agent of many plant diseases like aster yellows, potato witches broom and dwarf disease of mulberry. This mycoplasma, this genus, it lacks cell wall. So without that cell wall, so they are unaffected by common antibiotics like penicillin or other beta-lactam antibiotics, because these antibiotics are having the capability to target the cell wall synthesis. They can be parasitic or saprotrophic. So coming to general characteristics, here this mycoplasma, it lacks a rigid cell wall and it's extremely pleomorphic, and it is surrounded by a single triple layered membrane which contains cholesterol. So this mycoplasma, it is the smallest free living organism, gram-negative bacteria, and it's stained with Jamesa stain, and it's a non-sporing organism, non-flagellated, and it's non-motile, but it shows the gliding motility. So here reproduction, it's by fission as well as budding. The cells are spherical, 125 to 250 nanometer, and it's branching filaments, and when you heat this with 56 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes, and this mycoplasma will get killed, and it gets lysed by the surface active antigens as well as lipolytic agents. Here it cannot synthesize cholesterol, so we have to incorporate sterol into the medium, and it's resistant to cell wall active antibiotics, and it contains both RNA as well as DNA. It can reproduce in cell-free medium. So coming to ultrastructure of mycoplasma, here the cells is very small and it measures 0.2 to 0.3 diameter. Cell occurs in coccus, elongated as well as filamentous form. Here the cells are non-motile and it lacks cell wall. Cell comprises three components, here cell membrane, ribosomes and nucleoid. So that is highly coiled chromosome. Cell membrane section, it shows a triple layered thick structure, and cell membrane that have high lipid content compared to that of bacteria. The protein, it constitutes 50 to 80% of dry weight of whole cell. Here the DNA is 4 to 7% and RNA is 8 to 17%. So its remarkable property is to squeezing through the pores than their actual diameter. So if we take most of the species, so these species forms a solid media. In the solid media, this particular organism, it forms an egg colony characteristics. Denser inclusions, sometimes it is limited by this triple layered membrane. Cells, it shows similarity to the internal structure of the bacteria, except it's having the triple layered structure on its cell wall. Coming to mycoplasma pneumonia, it is the smallest free living organism and it's having the capability of self-replication, and it lacks peptidoglycan cell wall. It's resistant to penicillin as well as beta-lactam antibiotics. They have a cell membrane with sterol compounds. Mycoplasma pneumonia, it's an airborne bacterium and it causes upper respiratory tract infection that leads to mycoplasma pneumonia, that is 5 to 10% of patient. It can also lead to tracheobronchitis according to Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Next one is mycoplasma hominis. Here it lives parasitically as well as saprophytically, and it's a pleomorphic, gram-negative, and its size ranges from 0.2 to 0.3 micrometer. And its shape, it varies from coccoid, filamentous as well as irregular. Here you can see these include ribosomes like granules, and apart from that, irregular dark regions will be there and mesh like strands in the nuclear region. And this organism is a pathogenic bacterium which lacks cell wall, and it is the only mycoplasma whose genome is still unknown. It causes genital infection in women, and it causes extragenital infection in newborns, especially one who are having immunodeficiency, they will get affected easily. Next one is Mycoplasma genitalium. So this is a parasitic bacterium, and this Mycoplasma genitalium is a flask shaped and doesn't have the cell wall like other Mycoplasma species, and it lack a cell wall, and they have only a plasma membrane with, and this is 1 out of 14 Mycoplasma species of human origin, and they live on ciliated epithelial cells, and it's a motile. It uses a specialized tip structure to attach itself to the surface, and it will glide across them. Generally it causes no symptom, but sexually transmitted disease. It's a sexually transmitted disease which is similar to gonorrhea and chlamydia according to Women's Health, and it causes bacterial vaginosis in women and urethritis in men. So with the help of antibiotic you can treat this particular bacteria. Coming to the reproduction, so it's a common reproduction, that is binary fission, and it's reproduction that happens in prokaryotes. It's asexual reproduction. In this the plant will get, the parent cell will get splitted into 2 equal parts, and this process, this reproduction is very slow in Mycoplasma, and it is not uncommon for the cell to have more than one set of genetic information. Here the cell elongation takes place and genetic material DNA is replicated. After finishing of replication, the cell membrane, it begins to grow inward between the 2 DNA molecules. As soon as septum is formed, the cells get separated. So coming to conclusion, in this genus it lacks cell wall, and it's the smallest free living organism that is capable of self-replication. Further knowledge about Mycoplasma, its ultrastructure, cell membrane, genome, metabolic pathway, it resulted in conclusion that they are smallest and the simplest self-replicating organism, and the structure is very simple and it reproduces by binary fission. Thank you.